Hello again and welcome back. You now know how to build the foundation for your brand, define your target audience, audit your competition, position your brand in the marketplace, and design your brand's visual identity. In this next phase, you will learn how to release your brand into the world through brand principle number 6, consistent implementation. Let's take a look at all the knowledge you have gained so far. You have learned what a brand is, how powerful branding can be, when to start the branding or the rebranding process, how to recruit, lead, and retain a team of top talented creative professionals, how to build a brand's foundation, how to avoid failure and maintain positive brand status, how to gain clarity into your brand by conducting an internal brand audit, how to define your brand's purpose, vision, mission, and values, how to find and target your ideal customers, how to differentiate your brand to beat out the competition, how to craft the perfect brand name and tagline, how to communicate your brand's personality, how to speak to your target audience, how to position your brand in the marketplace, the importance of great design and how it can become your brand's most influential asset, what you need to include in your brand's visual identity, how to design your logo, color palette, typography, and graphic style, and finally, how to develop and distribute brand guidelines to your creative team so they can effectively, consistently design everything for your brand that it will need for every consumer touchpoint. So what exactly are consumer touchpoints? Touchpoints are simply places where your brand can communicate with your customers. Touchpoints allow customers to have experiences every time they touch any part of your products or services or your brand across multiple channels at various points in time. These touchpoints help your brand maintain a prominent presence in the minds of your customers. Therefore, your brand should take the opportunity to increase brand awareness and build loyalty with every single form of contact a customer has with your brand. When considering which brand touchpoints to focus on and which are the best for your specific business, there are several options to choose from. Your brand has the opportunity to display your identity and communicate with customers through websites, newsletters, business forms, signage, packaging, exhibits, proposals, emails, voicemails, publications, apps, letterheads, business cards, billboards, vehicles, products, speeches, presentations, video, mobile, word of mouth, trade shows, direct mail, public relations, podcasts, social networks, sales promotions, and advertisements. As you can clearly see, there is no shortage of options available to put your brand out there and capture the customer's attention. But depending on your type of business, your brand will most likely not need to focus on all of these. However, there are a few touch points that are critical and will require consistent attention and management. In addition to these few critical touch points, there are 4 distinctive times in the brand to consumer relationship where your business has the opportunity to engage and build brand awareness. Those opportunities are before a purchase, during a purchase, after a purchase, and at the point of customer service. Here are 8 top brand touchpoints that will provide the best impact and the opportunity for your business. Brand touchpoint number 1, your website. One of the more obvious touchpoints to showcase your brand and communicate to your potential customers is your website. Your website is typically the first place a customer will visit to determine if your products or services are right for them. That is why it is critical that your website not only functions properly, but also strategically engages with the visitor so they can easily consume the content and connect with your business. This is where your entire brand strategy comes into play. In an upcoming module, I will show you exactly how to structure and design a website so it supports your brand and effectively guides the visitor through a proven process to collect a lead or generate a sale. But for now, be aware that from a messaging perspective, your website must communicate your brand's purpose, vision, mission, values, and your personality. It must also be visually appealing on an emotional level by utilizing your brand's specific colors, fonts, images, and graphics included in your visual identity. You want your website to be an enjoyable and memorable experience that engages with the visitor and offers them the opportunity to establish a connection. It's this connection through the use of brand strategy that will build brand recognition, brand equity, and cultivate a loyal brand advocate. Brand touchpoint number 2, your blog. Similar to your website, a blog can also be very powerful and valuable resource to showcase your brand and increase awareness. By consistently creating content that is valuable to your target demographic, you are able to promote your products or services through industry updates, news articles, valuable information, or anything else that your audience may be interested in and searching for. This constant source of new online traffic provides your business with unlimited opportunities to brand your blog posts with your visual identity. The more valuable content that is produced by your brand, the greater the chances are that your audience will find and interact with your business. Brand touchpoint number 3, social media. If there was ever the perfect spot to display and communicate your brand strategy and produce the greatest results, it's on social media. Everyone has at least one, if not several, social media accounts. In fact, in 2023, there were 4.9 billion people actively using social networks for an average of 2 hours and 31 minutes per day. That is a lot of time and a lot of eyeballs to see your brand as they scroll through their social feeds. With that amount of opportunity, it should be extremely obvious that social media should be one of the top brand touchpoints to invest in. But before you spend all of your time and money pushing content onto every single social network available, go back and review the earlier module where we defined your brand's target audience to remind yourself of which platforms your demographic is hanging out on. This will save you tons of time and money by only focusing on just those users who are interested in what your business provides. Brand touchpoint number 4, in-store experiences. This may or may not apply to your business depending on whether or not you have a physical store or if your business is online only. However, the ideas behind an in-store customer experience can still apply to your brand if you do events, trade shows, or any other environmental experiences. Environmental experiences include everything from visual displays, wall graphics, lighting, audio, and music that supports your brand's personality. Not only should your brand be experienced through the customer's senses like sight and sound, but also through interaction with the employees. This includes how the employees dress, how they interact with customers, the tone that they use, and their language. Including these guidelines into your brand strategy will help them enhance the customer's experience. Brand touchpoint number 5, advertising. One of the most valuable and effective touchpoints is advertising. This is how you can attract a cold audience, pull them in, and make them aware of your products and services. However, this can only be effective if you are targeting the correct people. So be sure to revisit the earlier modules where we defined your audience. Once you decide who to place your ads in front of, it will be the job of the creative team to design ads that connect with them on an emotional level using your brand strategy and visual identity. Brand touchpoint number 6, email. Customers may not check up on their social media feeds every single day, but chances are they are checking their email quite a few times throughout the day. Consistently sending out email communications with valuable information and industry news is an effective way to not only stay connected, but also provides your brand with the opportunity to further connect with your audience. Always be sure to include your brand's voice and messaging in the email subject line and the content. Plus, use your brand logo, colors, typography, and any other on-brand visual elements to increase your brand's recognition. Brand touchpoint number 7, branded promotional merchandise. Anything and everything that your brand produces should be branded with your logo, colors, typography, personality, style, tagline, and messaging. This includes t-shirts, pens, travel cups, hats, wristbands, mugs, golf balls, pins, mouse pads, stationery, stickers, magnets. The list is absolutely endless. Whatever promotional materials that your brand decides to use, make sure they showcase your brand. Brand touchpoint number 8, valuable complementary resources. Complementary resources like digital downloads, training videos, product samples, and even discount codes or coupons are an influential way for potential customers to become aware of your brand. These easily accessible and complementary resources can be a soft entry point for the consumer to further engage with your business once they have determined that it is safe, trustworthy, and valuable. So those are a few of the top performing brand touchpoints that you will need to focus on. All of these brand touchpoints will most likely be experienced before or during the transaction process, but there are also several instances after the sale that should also be branded to continue the relationship. Some of these after-sale communications include thank you responses, feedback surveys, upselling emails, billing actions, subscription renewals, customer support channels, and customer onboarding. Each of these provide additional opportunities to engage with your customers, build brand recognition, increase brand equity, and hopefully produce a legion of loyal brand advocates. Now that you are aware of which brand touchpoints could be the most valuable and may create the greatest impact for your business, here are 6 strategies to get the best results. Number 1, identify and improve existing touchpoints. Your first step in developing and designing highly effective brand touchpoints is to identify which touchpoints are currently implemented and improve on them. Remember, brand touchpoints are anywhere that your brand interacts with your customers. So don't just look at the big and obvious examples like your website. The best performing touchpoints can be a simple banner ad, marketing campaign, or a social media post. Once you have defined your existing brand touchpoints, ask these questions. Does it clearly represent your brand? Does it stand out? Is it memorable? Does it motivate the customer to take action? What is your first impression of it? Does it fit in your brand strategy? Is the design consistent with your visual identity? Does it provide a positive and an enjoyable experience? If you answer no to any of these questions, begin by addressing each of these individual problems first using your newly developed brand strategy and visual identity before moving on to developing new touchpoints. Number 2, develop new touchpoints. Once you have improved and elevated the experience of your existing brand touchpoints, it's time to really put your brand out there and build excitement by creating new opportunities. Begin by reviewing the top 8 most effective brand touchpoints that I discussed earlier and determine if your brand is missing any of those. Next, go back and review the module where you define your brand's audience, particularly the section when you defined where your ideal customers are located and hang out. Are your customers participating in Facebook groups? Are they attending trade shows? Do they participate in any outdoor activities? Wherever the target demographic is will be where you will need to go to promote your brand. Number 3, learn from customers and think like your customers. When you really need to get an honest opinion about how your business is performing in the minds of your customers, just ask them. Most of the time, they will be more than happy to give it to you straight, whether that feedback is positive or negative. If your business has a physical store location, you can simply ask them. You can also put feedback surveys on your website or send out questionnaires to your email database. Whichever method is best for your business, I also recommend incentivizing the customers for their time with a free offer or a discount. In addition to asking customers about their experiences with your business, always put yourself in your customers' shoes and think how they think. This will help win the hearts and the loyalty of your audience by showing that your brand actually cares about them. Here are just a few tips to help. Survey your customers to identify what they need from your business. Keep track of what makes your customers love your brand. Draw customers closer by developing personal touchpoints that appeal to their personalities. Find out what service customers like about your brand. If you receive negative feedback on any of your touchpoints, be proactive about fixing them quickly. And when developing new or modifying existing touchpoints, always think about how it can benefit the customer. Number 4, learn from other brands. In the earlier module, Auditing the Competition, you learned how to complete a full competitor audit to determine how to differentiate your brand from the competition. Once again, you should look externally when designing your brand touchpoints. First, take a look at the competition to determine what their best performing touchpoints are. See where their clients are hanging out and learn how you can improve on what they are doing to perform better. Next, take a look at other influential brands outside of your industry and see how they are using their brand touchpoints to engage and impact their audience. Number 5, make touchpoints user-friendly. Whenever and wherever your potential customer comes into contact with your brand, whether it's on your website, your Facebook page, a magazine article, a video ad, within your store, or talking to a team member, you want the customer to have an enjoyable, hassle-free experience. This enjoyable experience can be accomplished through both your visual design and the process. People will often not choose the product or service with the best features. Instead, they will find the solution that is the easiest to understand and the best looking. That is why it is critical that all your brand's touch points are not only appealing to the eye, but also structured in a way that makes the process of understanding what your business wants them to do as simple as possible. In upcoming modules, I will show you how to design web pages and graphics using your visual style guides that will quickly communicate your brand's message and guide the customer through an efficient process. Number 6, stay true to your brand. And finally, as I've mentioned several times before, your brand must stay true to its purpose, vision, mission, and values. And remember, the goal is to build brand recognition. So it is critical that all designs are consistently following your visual brand guidelines. Not only should designs remain on brand, but also the brand messaging, voice, and your personality. Your brand's identity, both visual and psychological, will imprint an emotional connection into the minds of the consumer through each touch point, so be sure that everything is on brand. So there you have it. No matter how big or small your business is, brand touchpoints play a huge role in the success and impact. Integrating these ideas into your business will develop brand recognition, attract more of your target demographic, create loyal brand advocates, and increase your brand equity. All right, guys, that is it for now. Be sure to review and complete the action guide for this module, and I will see you in the next session.